stop everything you're doing and listen closely, because what I'm about to reveal could change your financial life forever. Hidden among 39 million ordinary coins minted in 1991, there are specimens that have sold for prices that would make you question reality. While most people see pocket change worth R2, collectors are hunting for perfect examples that command hundreds, even thousands of dollars at auction. A single 1,991 R2 coin graded NGC PF70, the absolute highest grade possible, represents the pinnacle of South African numismatics from this era. But here's the shocking truth that nobody talks about. You don't need the perfect coin to make serious money. Error varieties, unusual strikes, and specific characteristics can transform an ordinary-looking 1,991 R2 into a treasure worth 50 to 100 times its face value. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what separates a common coin from a fortune. The year 1991 stands as a watershed moment in South African history, and the coins from this period capture a nation at the absolute breaking point of transformation. Nelson Mandela had been released from prison just 1 year earlier in February 1990 after 27 years of imprisonment. The apartheid system was crumbling under international pressure and internal resistance. President F.W. de Klerk was negotiating with the African National Congress to dismantle the racist legal framework that had oppressed millions for decades. The world watched as South Africa teetered between catastrophic civil war and miraculous peaceful transition. Every coin minted in 1991 bears witness to this extraordinary moment when history hung in the balance and the future remained uncertain. The 1,991 R2 coin itself tells multiple stories through its design and composition. Made of nickel-plated copper, this coin represented the third decimal coinage series that South Africa had introduced in 1989. The decision to use base metals rather than precious metals reflected both economic realities and changing attitudes toward currency. Coins were no longer stores of intrinsic value but symbols of national identity and government authority. The obverse displayed the South African coat of arms as it existed from 1910, featuring 2 Springbok supporters, flanking a shield with emblems representing the 4 provinces. This colonial-era coat of arms would be replaced in 2000 with a new design reflecting post-apartheid values, making all coins bearing the old arms historically significant artifacts of a vanished political order. The reverse of the 1,991 R2 showcases one of Africa's most magnificent animals, the Greater Kudu. This spiral-horned antelope, with its distinctive stripes and impressive horns that can reach nearly 2 meters in length, represents the natural heritage that all South Africans could theoretically unite around, regardless of race or politics. The kudu is a symbol of grace, strength, and the untamed beauty of the African wilderness. Below the kudu, the denomination 2R appears prominently, while the legend wraps around the coin's edge reading Suid Africa and South Africa in the 2 official languages of the apartheid state. The bilingual inscription acknowledged the English and Afrikaans-speaking white minority populations while completely ignoring the African languages spoken by the vast majority of South Africans, a deliberate erasure that the coin's design unwittingly documents for posterity. According to official records, the South African Mint struck approximately 39 million R2 coins in 1991. This massive mintage was necessary to meet the demands of a growing economy and to ensure adequate circulation across the country. With such enormous production numbers, you might assume these coins are worthless to collectors. You would be spectacularly wrong. While common circulated examples trade for minimal amounts above face value, the Rarity pyramid tells a different story entirely. Most of those 39 million coins entered circulation immediately, getting scratched, dinged, dropped, and worn down through countless transactions. They accumulated grime, corrosion, and the unmistakable patina of heavy use. The coins that survived in pristine condition, that were pulled from circulation immediately or stored properly by collectors represent a tiny fraction of the original mintage. Here's where the mathematics of rarity create explosive value. Let's be conservative and estimate that perhaps 1% of the original mintage survived in uncirculated condition. That's roughly 390,000 coins. Now consider that among those uncirculated survivors, most will grade MS60 to MS63, showing minor imperfections visible under magnification. Perhaps 10% reach MS64 or MS65 grade, meaning only 39,000 coins in high uncirculated grades. As you climb higher on the grading scale to MS66, MS67, and the virtually impossible MS68 or above, the population drops to hundreds, then dozens, then single digits. At the absolute summit, proof coins graded PF69 or the perfect PF70 might number in the single digits or even be unique specimens. This is how a coin from a mintage of 39 million becomes genuinely rare and valuable. But standard uncirculated coins aren't where the real excitement lies. Error coins and varieties create the opportunities for extraordinary discoveries and profits. During the minting process, things can go wrong in spectacular ways. Dies can crack, creating raised lines across the coin's surface. Dies can clash when they strike each other without a planchet between them, creating ghostly transfer images. Coins can be struck off-center, with the design positioned incorrectly on the blank. Planchets, the metal blanks that become coins, can have the wrong composition or weight. Double dies can create shadowed or multiplied design elements. Any of these errors that escaped quality control and entered circulation are now worth substantial premiums to error coin collectors. The 1,991 2 is particularly interesting for error hunters because of the high mintage and the technological limitations of the era. The South African Mint in 1991 was producing coins at an incredible pace, and quality control, while generally good, couldn't catch every anomaly. Collectors today specifically hunt for 1,991 2 coins with visible doubling on the kudu's horns or body, with die cracks running through the design, with off-center strikes that show part of the design cut off and blank planchet visible, with wrong planchet errors, where the coin was struck on a blank, intended for a different denomination, and with any other manufacturing anomalies that create visual interest and rarity. A dramatic error on a 1,991 2 could easily sell for $50 to $200 or more, depending on the severity and eye appeal of the error. Proof coins represent another category of high-value specimens. Proof coins are specially made for collectors using polished dies and planchets, struck multiple times to create sharp details and mirror-like fields. The South African Mint produced proof sets in 1991 that included the 2 along with other denominations. These proof coins were sold directly to collectors and never entered circulation. Today, a 1,991 2 proof coin in perfect PF70 condition, representing absolute flawless perfection with no imperfections visible even under intense magnification, would be an extraordinary rarity. Such coins have sold for significant sums at auction because perfection is almost impossible to achieve and maintain over decades of storage. Even proof coins can develop spots, hairlines, or toning issues that prevent them from achieving the highest grades. The grading system itself deserves explanation because it's the language of numismatics and determines value with precision. Circulated coins are graded from poor through good, very good, fine, very fine, extremely fine, and about uncirculated, with various gradations within each category. Uncirculated coins, also called mint state, are graded on the Sheldon scale from MS60 to MS70, where MS70 represents theoretical perfection. For proof coins, the same numerical scale applies, but with the PF prefix instead of MS. Professional grading services like NGC and PCGS examine coins under magnification and controlled lighting, assessing strike quality, surface preservation, luster, and eye appeal before assigning a grade. A coin graded and encapsulated by these services commands significantly higher prices than an identical raw coin because the uncertainty is removed and the coin is protected from further handling damage. Authentication becomes critically important when dealing with potentially valuable coins because the market attracts both honest mistakes and deliberate fraud. Some sellers genuinely believe they have rare varieties when they actually have common coins with environmental damage or wear patterns that mimic errors. Others deliberately alter coins to simulate rare varieties, using tools to create fake doubling or damage that resembles mint errors. Protecting yourself requires education and professional authentication. Learn to recognize genuine error characteristics by studying authenticated examples. Use proper magnification and lighting when examining coins. Compare your coins to confirmed genuine specimens. When in doubt, submit questionable coins to professional grading services for authentication and grading. The cost of certification is minimal compared to the potential value if you've discovered a genuine rarity or the cost of buying a fake coin at an inflated price. The historical significance of 1,991 South African coins extends far beyond numismatics. These coins circulated during the final agonizing years of apartheid, passing through the hands of people on all sides of the conflict. They were used by activists organizing resistance, by police enforcing racist laws, by international observers documenting the transition, and by ordinary people simply trying to survive extraordinary times. Some of these coins might have been in the pockets of protesters at rallies. Others might have passed through markets in townships, where the majority of South Africans lived under oppressive conditions. Still others circulated in the white minority suburbs, where privilege and denial coexisted. Every 1,991 2 Rand coin is a tangible link to this crucial historical moment. The symbolism of the Kudu design takes on additional meaning when viewed through the lens of apartheid's collapse. The kudu, a wild and free animal that cannot be truly domesticated or controlled, served as an ironic emblem on coins minted by a government desperately trying to maintain control over an increasingly ungovernable situation. The kudu doesn't recognize human borders or racist legislation. It roams freely across the African landscape, indifferent to the political conflicts of the species that shares its habitat. In some sense, the kudu represented what South Africa could become, a nation where natural law rather than unjust human laws determined the possibilities and limitations of existence. Whether the coin designers intended this symbolism or not, it's there for modern observers to contemplate. The technical specifications of the 1,991 2 Rand reveal practical considerations and economic constraints. Weighing 5.5 grams with a diameter of 23 millimeters, these coins were sized and weighted to be easily distinguishable from other denominations by touch, critical for accessibility to visually impaired users. The segmented reading on the edge provided additional tactile identification while also making counterfeiting more difficult. The choice of nickel-plated copper for composition-balanced durability, cost-effectiveness, and aesthetic appeal. These base metal coins could survive years of circulation without wearing away completely, unlike pure copper coins that degrade faster. The nickel plating provided a silver-like appearance that distinguished the 2 Rand visually from bronze, 1 Rand coins and copper-colored smaller denominations. For collectors building South African coin sets, the 1,991 2 Rand fills a specific niche in comprehensive collections. Collectors focused on type sets need one example from this design period. Date collectors pursuing complete runs of the Kudu Reverse 2 Rand series from 1,989 through 1,995 need the 1,991 specifically. Variety collectors hunt for the different edge types, striking characteristics, and potential errors within the 1,991 date. Each collecting approach creates demand and supports market prices for different grades and varieties of the coin. The existence of multiple collecting motivations ensures a broad and stable market for these coins, rather than relying on a narrow specialty interest that might fade over time. Investment potential in 1991. 2 Rand coins depends heavily on grade, variety, and market timing. Common circulated examples have minimal investment value beyond their face value or base metal content. Uncirculated examples in MS63 to MS65 grades represent affordable collectibles that maintain modest premiums and could appreciate as South African numismatics gains international attention. High-grade examples in MS66 and above, error varieties with dramatic visual appeal, and perfect proof, specimens graded PF69 or PF70 represent the serious investment opportunities where significant appreciation is possible. These coins appeal to collectors completing registry sets who compete for the finest known examples regardless of price. They also attract investors seeking tangible assets with historical significance that can be stored compactly and transported easily. The broader market for South African coins has evolved dramatically over recent decades. During apartheid, international sanctions and moral opposition meant that many collectors avoided South African material entirely. After apartheid's end in 1994, attitudes shifted. South African coins gained recognition as important historical documents and as beautiful examples of coinage art. The dramatic record-breaking sales of rare South African gold ponds, including the $2 million plus sale of the 1,898 single 9 pond in January 2025, have focused international attention on the entire spectrum of South African numismatics. Rising tides lift all boats, and increased interest in the rare gold issues creates spillover demand for more affordable denominations, like the 1,991 2 Rand. New collectors entering South African numismatics often start with these accessible base metal coins before progressing to the expensive rarities. Geographic considerations affect the market significantly. Within South Africa itself, these coins evoke personal memories for anyone who lived through the early 1990s. They're not just collectibles but tangible connections to lived experience. This emotional connection creates strong domestic demand. Outside South Africa, collectors interested in African numismatics, apartheid-era artifacts, or world coin varieties provide additional market support. The international nature of modern numismatics, facilitated by online auction platforms and dealer networks, means that a rare 1,991 2 Rand error coin could attract bidders from South Africa, Europe, North America, Asia, and anywhere else collectors pursue their passion. This global market reduces the risk of local economic conditions, depressing values, and ensures liquidity for sellers. Preservation and storage of these coins requires proper techniques to maintain condition and value. Coins should never be cleaned with abrasive materials or chemicals, as this destroys the original surface and eliminates numismatic value. Handle coins by the edges only, avoiding touching the faces where fingerprints can cause permanent damage. Store coins in appropriate holders such as archival quality flips, capsules, or albums, made specifically for coin storage. Avoid PVC-containing materials that can cause chemical reactions and damage. Control environmental factors by maintaining stable temperature and humidity levels, avoiding exposure to chemicals or harsh conditions. For valuable specimens, consider professional grading and encapsulation, which provides both authentication and museum-quality protection in a tamper-evident holder. The hunt for valuable 1,991 2 Rand coins continues today with collectors, dealers, and opportunistic treasure hunters all competing to find overlooked rarities. Estate sales. Old coin collections inherited from relatives, bulk lots purchased from dealers, and even circulation finds all represent potential sources. The mathematical reality that millions of these coins exist means that high-grade examples and error varieties are still being discovered regularly. The coin you casually examine today could be the specimen that someone else has been searching for unsuccessfully for years. The knowledge you've gained from this video gives you a significant advantage. You now know what to look for, what grades matter, what errors create value, and how to protect yourself from mistakes and fraud. Authentication services have revolutionized the rare coin market by providing objective, expert opinions that create confidence for both buyers and sellers. NGC and PCGS, the two dominant grading services, employ teams of expert numismatists who examine submitted coins under standardized conditions. They assign grades, note varieties or errors, and encapsulate certified coins in sealed holders with tamper-evident security features. The holder includes a label with the grading service's opinion of the coin's grade and characteristics, plus a unique certification number that can be verified on the service's website. This system has largely eliminated the worst frauds and grade inflation that plagued the coin market in earlier eras. While grading remains somewhat subjective at the margins, with experts sometimes disagreeing by a point or two, the professional services maintain generally consistent standards that the market relies upon. The psychological aspects of coin collecting shouldn't be underestimated in understanding why people pay significant premiums for high-grade examples of inherently common coins. Collectors are driven by the quest for completion, perfection, and rarity within their chosen specialties. The collector building a complete set of South African 2 Rand coins in the highest grades possible experiences genuine satisfaction and accomplishment when finding an elusive high-grade specimen. The competitive aspect of registry set collecting, where participants compete for the highest average grade across a defined set of coins, drives demand for exceptional examples regardless of the underlying mintage figures. The pride of ownership, the beauty of a perfectly preserved coin, and the status within the collecting community all contribute to willingness to pay prices that might seem irrational to outsiders, but make perfect sense within the collector mindset. Market cycles and trends affect South African coin values like any other collectible market. Prices rise during periods of economic uncertainty when tangible assets become more attractive compared to paper investments. Prices respond to major auction results that set new benchmarks and generate publicity. Celebrity collections being auctioned or famous rarities changing hands create media attention that brings new collectors into the market. Currency exchange rates between the South African rand and major international currencies like the dollar, euro, and pound affect the relative affordability of South African coins for foreign collectors. Political stability, economic conditions, and social trends all influence collector psychology and market dynamics. Understanding these cycles helps collectors and investors make better decisions about when to buy and when to sell. The story of any individual 1,991 2 Rand coin is unknowable but fascinating to contemplate. Where was your coin on the day Mandela walked free from Victor Verster prison? Did it pass through a Cape Town market or a Johannesburg shop? Was it saved by a hopeful collector or spent carelessly on groceries? Did it witness the negotiations at CODESA or the violence that threatened to derail the transition? Every coin is a silent witness to history, carrying stories it can never tell, but that we can imagine and honor by preserving these artifacts for future generations. This romantic aspect of numismatics, the connection to history through objects, drives much of the passion that sustains the hobby across generations and cultures. Looking forward, the long-term prospects for 1,991 South African 2 Rand coins appear positive for high-grade specimens and error varieties. As time passes, fewer examples survive in top condition. Attrition through loss, damage, and neglect continues, reducing the population. Collector interest in South African numismatics grows internationally, and the historical significance of apartheid-era coins becomes more recognized. These factors suggest that today's prices for exceptional examples represent buying opportunities rather than market peaks. Conversely, common circulated examples will likely remain inexpensive indefinitely because the supply vastly exceeds specialized collector demand. The key to value appreciation is identifying and acquiring the genuinely scarce material within this otherwise common series, which requires the knowledge, patience, and careful examination that separates successful collectors from casual accumulators. The 1,991 South African 2 Rand coin embodies contradictions and possibilities in equal measure. It's simultaneously common and rare, worthless and valuable, historical artifact and pocket change. It witnessed the death of apartheid and the birth of a new nation. It features colonial symbolism and African wildlife. It was minted by the millions, yet examples of perfection number in the single digits. Your challenge now is to look at every 1,991 2 Rand coin with new eyes, examining it not as trivial pocket change, but as a potential treasure that the previous owner overlooked. Check the grade, look for errors, assess the strike quality, and evaluate the preservation. You might be holding an ordinary coin worth 2 Rand, or you might be holding a specimen that advanced collectors would eagerly pay hundreds or thousands of dollars to acquire. If this video transformed how you think about South African coins and opened your mind to the hidden fortunes in overlooked denominations, demonstrate your appreciation by absolutely crushing that like button. Your engagement tells the algorithm to share this valuable information with others who could benefit from this knowledge. Subscribe to this channel immediately because we're producing more deep investigations into valuable coins, overlooked treasures, and numismatic opportunities from around the world. Turn on notifications so you never miss a video that could literally lead you to a profitable discovery. And share this content widely with anyone who has old South African coins, anyone interested in collecting, or anyone who appreciates the intersection of history, art, and value that makes numismatics such an endlessly fascinating pursuit. The knowledge you've gained today gives you an enormous advantage over the vast majority of people who handle these coins without recognizing their potential. Use that advantage wisely. Examine every coin that crosses your path, and remember that sometimes the difference between worthless and valuable is nothing more than knowledge, attention, and the patience to look closely at what everyone else ignores. Thank you for investing your time in learning about these remarkable coins, and may your searches be rewarded with discoveries that exceed your wildest expectations. Now get out there and start hunting.